Now at 6, a former Oregon men's basketball player is one of 26 people named in a new federal indictment alleging they rigged games. What we know about the player and his alleged involvement in this scheme ahead in a live report. And how are the people in the Portland metro area feeling about their finances? At 6:30, we'll look at the concerning new trends revealed in the Metro Chamber's annual survey. And we are also live this morning at the Oregon Convention Center, checking out all things nerdy at Fan Expo. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson will join us live with what you need to know about this weekend's event, coming up in just a few minutes as your News at Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Friday. I'm China Green. Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis are standing by for a look at your weather and traffic. Good morning, boys.
Happy Friday to you. Good morning, everybody. We do have east winds blowing near the gorge, really maintaining the wind in close proximity to the gorge. Stratto has been reporting winds 40-45 miles per hour. We've been under air stagnation advisories at times across parts of our state because of the dry high pressure ridge pattern. But so far, generally, air quality is holding okay. Yellow is moderate. The green dots are good. Good visibility this morning. That is frost on the grass in front of our state capitol, 34 at McNary Field. But again, some frosty conditions there. Great visibility over downtown Portland. PDX temperature is 36. Our bus stop weather under sunny skies all day. Sun pops up at 7:46. We'll be upper 40s at noon, maybe 50. And then I have us mid 50s when the kids get out of school. And again, if you don't live close to the Columbia River, your winds probably 5 to 15 today. Here's Chris.
Love the sunshine, Ron. Thank you for that. The drive this morning off to a pretty good start. Light volume, as is typically the case on a Friday morning. So we're zipping along just fine right now at 6:02 in the morning. I do want to let you know about this. Starting tonight and tomorrow night, the I-205 Abernathy Bridge will close for several hours overnight as ODOT continues work on that seismic retrofit of the bridge. So remember, 99E, Highway 43, or I-5 are your detours around that. Of course, local traffic can also use the Arch Bridge. And tomorrow, the Morrison Bridge, the county doing some maintenance on the bridge. They're going to do multiple bridge lifts of the Morrison Bridge during the day on Saturday from 7 to 4. Those durations up to 20 minutes. So obviously that could mean some delays on I-5 as well. Know that as you go into your weekend travel. China, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. A person is in critical condition this morning after authorities say a freight train struck and injured that person last night. This happened just before 7 on Union Pacific Railroad tracks near Northeast 158th and Rose Parkway. Because of a lack of access to the tracks, firefighters had to use a ladder and ropes to lower down from I-84 and rescue the victim. 3 people were taken to the hospital, one of them by life flight after a multi-car crash south of Wilsonville. This happened just before 7:30 last night on I-5 northbound near the Charbonneau on-ramp. Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue says 4 vehicles were involved in the crash, including 1 semi-truck. In Lincoln County, a pilot walked away with minor injuries after his helicopter went down yesterday. This is a look at the wreckage in a cow pasture about 6 miles from Siletz. No animals were hurt and no buildings damaged. The helicopter is registered to the Weyerhaeuser Company. A spokesperson tells us that they are working with officials to figure out what caused the crash. In Cowlitz County, firefighters helped save a 2-week-old calf after a barn caught fire. The blaze broke out Wednesday night in a rural area southeast of Kelso. Crews found the calf as they were putting out the flames and pulled it out of the barn. The fire was under control about an hour later. It turns out it was started by a heat lamp. In Washington, several sheriffs are pushing back against a new bill that would add new state requirements for them. So those requirements would include age minimums, years of law enforcement experience, and county-funded background checks. Supporters say it sets consistent standards, but some sheriffs argue that it goes too far. For example, if a sheriff's certificate is revoked, a new commission could remove the sheriff from office rather than through a recall vote by residents.
It removes their ability to decide. It places it on a group of unelected individuals that, in large part, a lot of them are not even law enforcement.
There has been so much state overreach, in particular into law enforcement. This is just another extreme measure by the state to have control.
So there was a similar bill proposed last year, but it never made it out of committee. Another hearing for this Senate bill is scheduled for next week. We're learning more about one of the biggest scandals in college basketball history. A new federal indictment accuses more than a dozen players of shaving points, including a former Oregon Duck. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us now from Northwest Portland. Thomas, there's a lot to unpack here.
A lot to unpack, and we're talking millions of dollars in gambling here made by fixers and hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribe payouts to players. Now, this case centers around college basketball as well as games in the Chinese Basketball League. Federal investigators believe this all began in 2022. Of the 26 people indicted, 22 of them are former college players, including former Duck Jalen Terry. He played for Oregon for one season back in 2021. Prosecutors say Terry's involvement in the scheme happened later, during the 23-24 season when he was playing for DePaul. Federal investigators accused Terry and 3 teammates of taking bribes to underperform in the first half of 3 games.
They did so with carefully orchestrated FaceTime calls to obscure and prevent their communications from being intercepted and recorded.
Investigators say fixers would bet hundreds of thousands of dollars on games, and players would earn between 10 to 30 grand for underperforming. The indictment suggests some players were targeted for the scheme because they were missing out on NIL money. Some experts say they're not surprised we've reached this point.
With the legalization of sports gambling, this has opened up Pandora's box to things like this happening more often.
Yeah, Pandora's box, right? And we've heard about similar things happening here in Portland. Back in October, former Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups was accused of being a part of rigged poker games. An unnamed person that matches Billups' description is also accused of rigging an NBA game. Billups, for his part, has denied these allegations. China?
All right, Thomas Schultz reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Thomas. And if you are a fan of comics, movies, TV shows, or cosplay, this weekend is basically your Super Bowl. Fan Expo Portland kicks off today at the Oregon Convention Center, and thousands are set to attend. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us live from the Expo as things get set up with what you need to know. What is that?
Well, China, it's showtime. Fan Expo is set to bring together thousands of people this morning and throughout the rest of the weekend, bring together people for pop culture underneath one roof. And so right now here at the Oregon Convention Center, things are getting set up. It's still early on in the process, vendors setting things out. The event is a part of a series of Comic-Con style fan conventions put on by Fan Expo HQ, one of the biggest producers of fan conventions around. Now, the Expo is going to give fans a deeper dive into the celebration of pop culture fandom. You can expect celebrity guests like Elijah Wood and Sean Astin from The Lord of the Rings, some other larger names as well, along with panels, autograph opportunities, and behind-the-scenes discussions just about your favorite TV shows and movies and what it took to put them together. I mean, this is an accurate representation of just a wide range of movies and TV film that we can expect to learn more about throughout the rest of the weekend. Fans, if they come to the event, we've got different things. Look at this, Stranger Things, looks like Star Wars, or not Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, just everything that pop culture fans love to watch. And so cosplay also going to be a big factor of it. There will be several competitions where people can win prizes and awards coming up. We are going to talk more with those who are hosting this event, putting it together, and the importance behind it. So we'll see you again very soon, China.
Our Corey Johnson reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Corey. And just so everybody knows out there, I do know Beetlejuice. I have seen Beetlejuice. The monitor is just small. I couldn't tell what it was. It just looked like a scary face looking thing. But that was Beetlejuice.
Okay. Another great story this morning by China Green.
Okay. All right. Pipe down.
Here's our Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. Good visibility. I wanted to show it because you folks are cloudy. You don't have any wind. It's 39 degrees. You could be as chilly as 43 this afternoon, probably certainly not getting any warmer than the mid 40s, but just one of those gray, still, quiet days coming your direction. Now you get into the valley, and here's the Vancouver, the Springs at the Waterfront camera. Clear skies up over the river and the interstate bridge, and a frosty 29 degrees. This is actually one of our colder spots in our metro area this morning. Here are the other numbers. In fact, it could be it is the cold one. Battleground 31, Scappoose 32, Hillsboro's now 31. So there are frosty spots around. Generally fog free, but there have been some fog pockets up in the Scappoose area. And then we have fog reports down around Albany and Corvallis. Salem being reported as clear. You can see there is some east wind, Estacada and Silverton, where temperatures are holding at 50 degrees. The weather map today is generally dry, nearing 60 in parts of the coast. Clear skies there. 50s up and down I-5. Eugene, foggy right now. Yesterday you had a high of 45, so it depends on how quickly you clear if you get up to 50 or not down that way. Sun River 44 and then sunny 42. Here's the clouds from Pendleton to Dalles and spilling down into parts of central Oregon this morning as well. But for the Rose City, it's basically a sunny forecast. We have east winds blowing to about 45 in close proximity to the gorge. By Sunday morning, the winds might be calm enough that we start seeing increasing fog areas in the valley, and then even more so into Monday for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Next rain chance is Wednesday, and that rain chance was looking decent. It doesn't look decent. Now, back to you.
Thank you, Ryan.